to the 32nd episode of PauseCast. It is Thursday, the 9th of March, 2017. I am Jessica Alouette, and I use she, her pronouns.
I'm Mark Hanna, I use he, him.
This week we're also joined by Sid from the I'm Just Playin podcast.
Hi, my name is Sid, and I use he, him pronouns.
Excellent. Welcome to the show, Sid. It's good to have you here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Kind of. I mean, it is early as shit.
Oh yeah, the difference between us right now is 13 hours.
So it's just after 8 p.m. for us, and just after 7 p.m. for you? 7 a.m. for you?
It's 7:13 a.m. here right now.
There's no way I would sound as awake as you do right now if I were in your shoes.
Mark, you're barely conscious at that hour.
I'm not conscious at that hour. What are you talking about?
I mean, I sound like this all the time, unfortunately, unless I'm ranting, in which case I get really loud.
Yeah, I've been a fan of I'm Just Playin for a while, so it's good to have you on the show. Thank you for taking the time to join us on this really fucking early morning.
I did not realize that you guys recorded like so late in the evening.
Yeah, it's because then we have a full day of work, so we've got to kind of find some time for this and also video games. So this kind of just works for us.
Fair enough.
So, Mark.
Yeah.
I want to start with you. What have you been playing this week?
So, last week when we did the episode, I had just the morning of the episode got my hands on a copy of Horizon Zero Dawn. I think I played about an hour of it. And I was pretty impressed with that hour that I'd seen. And now I think I'm up to something like 28 hours. And I'm even more impressed.
Happens to me all the time.
Yeah. I played it almost non-stop over the weekend. And aside from yesterday evening when we had D&D night, I've played it pretty much all evening, every other evening. It's so good. It's like, I don't even know where to start with how good this game is. I talked about the customizable UI a little bit last week because that's something that you can see right off from the bat. And it's been really nice to be able to do that because I've turned off enemy awareness indicators and health bars. So now instead of relying on the UI cues, there's cues in on the enemies as well. Like they'll start limping and sparking when they're hurt and stuff. So it feels pretty Monster Hunter-y to me now, actually. With that, when you're used to playing Monster Hunter and you'll fight something for like half an hour straight without a health bar and you're fine, it's quite easy to do it for 5 or 10 minutes without a health bar and you're still fine. So that's been really cool. Just everything else about it has been impressing me again and again and again. I've noticed very few things that I'd criticize, I think. So that's been really cool. What about you? What have you two been up to?
Let's let Sid go first in this case, because Sid is our guest, and I realized I maybe should have let him go first to begin with. Stupid.
I've played a surprising amount this week. I mean, normally I usually have one game and then I'll play it, but this week has been busy as shit. I've had there's been Ghost Recon Wildlands, which I was excited for about 2 years, and it's been amazing. I played a game called Oxygen Not Included, which has hooked me in ways that I did not realize could. And I played about 2-3 hours of Breath of the Wild. Oh,
nice! So you got a Switch?
No, I borrowed, commandeered someone else's.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I would not pay $300 just to play Breath of the Wild.
They're really expensive,
my
aren't
official
they?
Review.
Switches.
Yeah. My official review is I'm not going to pay $300 for one game. Sorry.
Maybe when the Switch has more stuff.
Yeah, when it has other games to play. Yeah, sure. Whatever. Have my money. There's plenty to go around. Take it. But right now, I mean, it's. But,
I mean, will you get it once it has Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey, the only 2 games which have been announced for the Nintendo Switch?
I'm waiting for at least 2 or 3. No, wait. I'm waiting. How do I put it? No. I need at least 10 indie games on there and one of them has to be Stardew
Okay.
Valley. And when they're all released and out,
Oh, that will be good.
Think that's there. I'm pretty sure that was a launch title.
yeah, it's on. It's on.
Shovel Knight is there. Ukulele's gonna be on it.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for them to actually come out, and then I'm like, yeah, cool. All right, now we'll spend some money.
Nice.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What was the Oxygen Not Included one? I have not heard about this game, and I would like to know.
Do you know of Clay Entertainment? The guys behind Don't Starve Together, Mark of the
I
Ninja.
do indeed.
They are probably like my favorite publisher. Well, I mean, they have done no wrong so far. And
yeah, that checks out.
so it's basically a bit of Don't Starve Together mixed with some RimWorld. And okay, it's a colony management game.
Mm-hmm.
So you have three things, people that spawn into this planet underground, and there's all these like resources you have to like give them jobs to do and survive in this very dangerous place, which is really quite cool. It's really addictive. I normally like me playing for 2 hours of any game is an achievement of the game. It's like, wow, you managed to get me to actually play something for this long. Well done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently on about 30 hours.
Nice.
After like 2 days. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's quite a good effort.
Yeah. It's an early access.
The art style definitely reminds me of Don't Starve.
Yeah, it's got that
100%.
It's got that really nice Burton-esque look to it.
I've not actually played Don't Starve, but I've seen a video a while ago of Oxygen Not Included. It looked really cool. It has like, what was it, gases with different densities and heat and stuff like that, doesn't it?
Yeah. There's like, I mean, the thing I like about it is that you need a little bit of knowledge to play it. So you need to know that hydrogen goes up, carbon dioxide goes down, yeah, how distillery works, etc. So I like games that make me feel like I'm a little bit intelligent. Unlike Ghost Recon Wildlands, which, by the way, I love, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah,
boy, is that
I
a
did
game
not
that you
have
just...
a good time. I did not have a good time with that in the beta, so I'm curious about your thoughts now that it's a finished product.
I love it, but I love it for one reason only, and that is co-op play. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, is it kind of like that Division situation where the co-op was like really, really smooth and everything else? It was certainly fine, but maybe not the best.
Yeah. I mean, I love the Division as well, but again, only for co-op. So the reason I was excited for Wildlands is because Ubisoft have lately their focus has been quite heavy on the co-op play, the whole team play thing, and they have nailed it. Like so when it comes to like just having like one to three other friends with you, they have nailed it. They've worked out the formula. So, I mean, the Division, it's a questionable game, but with friends, it's a lot of fun. And with Wildlands, now you have a massive, massive map. Holy shit, this place is huge. Like, it's daunting at first, but the fact that you've got like a bunch of friends that you can just go on road trips with, and then like kill people that sell drugs. Yeah, sure. I mean,
and it's all one area as well. It's not like a bunch of loading screens or anything between them. Eh?
It's all ridiculously seamless. Like, there's no way I want to play the single player at all. Like, for me, it's like Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead is a game that if you're playing a single player, don't just leave it. It's fine. You'll be okay. But co-op, brilliant. But then pretty much anything with friends is better.
Yeah, I will say about Left 4 Dead, some of the I guess most challenge and fun I've had with Left 4 Dead. Wow, Left and Dead. Some of the most fun I've had, kind of with Left 4 Dead, has been there's a mutator which is called Lone Gunman, which just gives you a Magnum, and you're on your own. You don't even have the bots or anything like that, and it's a really kind of chilling experience, and it's also very challenging. So I've had a blast with that mode.
Oh god, just hearing about that gives me anxiety.
If you want to make it worse, each hit you take from a single zombie will take away 30 health, and the regular amount of zombies are present in the stage.
God no. Okay. See, there you go.
The only thing that isn't there is they removed smokers. Every other special is there, tanks included.
Oh. No.
Yep.
So how long did you last in that?
I've actually made it through to part 3 of the first campaign. That was one time, though. And after that, I was promptly killed by a tank. I'm a little mad that tanks were allowed to stay, but, I can't win them all. I'm really glad that you're having a good time with Ghost Recon Wildlands, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of questionable things about it. Like, it's the whole American
its entire
power fantasy.
Political situation.
It's hey, look, there's some brown people. Let's go shoot them. Ta-da!
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, but sometimes you just gotta let it go and be like, you know what? Okay, whatever. I'm brown. This is what I'm supposed to be. I'm a target to be shot out of video games. Who cares? At this point, I don't. I just want to have fun with my friend. That's it. That's all I want to do.
That is totally fair enough.
But it could do better. They can always do better.
Yeah, everything can do better, and definitely should be encouraged to do better as well.
Yeah. I have more of an issue with Overwatch than I do with Wildlands. So, speaking of which, I heard that you retired.
I did, in fact, retire this week from just kind of Overwatch play, because I've realized that Overwatch has gotten to a point where it's become frustrating to a point where it is unhealthy for me to continue to play it, because I will just, I'm stuck on a treadmill for one, and I will just get frustrated at my teammates, and it's been this reminder of why I used to play only single player games, and it used to be a little bit of one, I couldn't find kind of a sense of community within that, and two, I also had shitty internet. But now I just have one of those problems where I can't find the community. My internet's great, and the community is very, very, very small in New Zealand and Australia, just to kind of begin with.
Because if you're playing with anyone further afield, the ping goes to hell, right?
Yeah, exactly. If I want to play with my American friends, then all of a sudden I have to deal with, kind of 200, 300 ping.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
That's maybe not ideal.
Yeah, it turns out there are downsides to living in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it turns out living on a fucking island just results in bad internet connections to other countries right now. It's kind of a mess. Hey, let's fix this. Let's fix this whole internet thing that we have going. Surely there's a better solution.
Yeah, just host
I was actually
everything in New Zealand.
considering moving to New Zealand at one point, but that was because of a girl. And then I realized, you guys have really bad internet, so I may not. This
well,
is not
actually,
work.
now we have the thing about New Zealand now is we have fiber across the country now. Is the thing?
Oh, nice.
It's everywhere.
But yeah, when it comes to things that you do need a quick back and forth, like multiplayer gaming, then yeah, you can only get so good when everyone else is that far away. Unfortunately. Yeah. Am I right, Jess? Just in my understanding of the issues you've had with Overwatch, because I've not played it, but just let me know if I understand it right. It's got a ranking system where you're supposed to play a bunch of games at the start of a competitive season, and it'll put you in a slot, and that determines who you're matched with, and then from there, how well you do is supposed to determine how you change within that ranking. Except it hasn't been working properly. It's put you in a position where basically you can't really affect the ranking. You can't get out of the bracket it's put you in. Is that about right?
Yeah, basically. Because the situation I'm in is, despite having kind of the best performance on the team consistently, and Overwatch quantifies that and makes it so that it is objective, But I constantly have some of the best performance on the team, and even in spite of that, my ranking isn't determined by actual performance, it's determined by win and loss. Which means
and
if I
that's a
get
team
stuck
thing.
if I get stuck with shitty teammates, then that's it. And that kind of sucks. And it turns out there's also a hidden kind of ranking system which also operates on win-loss. So
You've got two
when
ranking
I started
systems.
yeah, the hidden one is just like a general kind of skill rating, which it tries to match you even in the non-competitive mode with
Right.
players who are around your skill level.
Yeah.
And then in competitive mode, it uses the season ranking first, and then also your proper the proper hidden ranking system.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been kind of that, and as a result of that system and not having a community of like friends who play the game, it means that I'm kind of stuck floating in a treadmill because I can't actually get a win streak going because I'm relying on my teammates. And with them constantly changing out, it makes it kind of tricky to stick to.
I think you're reconfirming me and not wanting to play competitive video games.
Yeah, it's a good idea, I think.
I stopped that a long time ago. Like after League of Legends, I was like, you know what? I'm okay. I'm getting old. Don't need this kind of stress in my life. I don't need to prove anything to myself or anyone. I'm all right.
Yeah, cooperative multiplayer I still really like, but
it was fun while I was actually playing it, and it was a good time to spend time with like one of my partners. But it also, once I started spending enough time in it, I've seen a lot of what it has to offer. So now the only way up is skill, and the seasons provided a quick way to like do that. And it was fun for a while, and then I eventually came to this realization that I was just on a treadmill.
Yeah, and if you're not having fun anymore, eh?
Yeah, once the realization that I was on the treadmill was like, oh, that's not fun. I can't actually go up because I'm trapped by not having a community. So, and I very, very quickly got frustrated with that and decided as well that it was best for me to pull out of it.
Wait,
so that's my Overwatch retirement story.
So when you say you don't have a community, as in you don't have like friends in the local area or people
Yeah, basically. I don't have enough friends who are local to New Zealand, Australia, who I can form a full team of 6 with and, go in and crush the other teams.
Fair enough.
Or even just not even just crush, just have a good time with them. But instead I have, one partner who I could play with regularly, and everyone else is just random and of varying quality, shall we say.
I mean, there is an exploit for that.
Mm-hmm.
As in, so there was a little heat going around regarding Overwatch and its competitive scene where people were getting put in the top 500 and they had consistent wins even though they suck. And that's because they played very late at, very off-peak hours in their region. So playing at 1 a.m. when no one else is playing and everyone there is either high and just suck at the game anyway at that point. And they're just there playing and you just wreck them and you get consistent wins. And that's how they get to the top 500.
That's whack. That's completely. That's to me, that makes the case for having rating based on performance rather than win loss even kind of stronger. And that's not theoretically difficult to implement because the game objectively quantifies who's the best performer on each team in every single game.
Yeah, and in at that very case, you will be better and you'll be winning and you'll be ranked up higher. You gotta do it, Jess. I
don't think anything's gonna pull me back at this point, unfortunately.
All you have to do is play at 4:30 every morning.
No, thank you. Not well. I mean, I could do the thing where I wake up at 5 and go to bed at 9, and that be my day. I used to do that actually back when
that sounds horrible to me.
I actually no. I used to work. I used
to
to work in a print shop, and while I was working at this print shop, I wanted a little bit of time just in the morning to get up, have breakfast, and also just to sit down and play some games, and then go do a job which I was fine with, but it wasn't the most enjoyable thing in the world. And that used to be my thing. It was actually really good when I did that. But now it's kind of early mornings and late nights, the usual kind of normal person sleep schedule.
Depends on your normal. Yeah, I'm very much not a morning person. If I did try to get up before something and get into a game, I'd probably end up not realizing the time anyway and be really late.
I did not have that problem, but let me tell you, public transport in this city fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's not the best.
No, it's really bad.
I mean, it's not good anywhere. I mean, you must have heard about London and its horrible underground.
I have not heard about the horrible underground. I've heard about the underground being, okay, it's fine.
Well, I mean, as a general idea, yeah, it's a great idea. Imagine having tunnels that take you to all places around. That's a great idea. It's just it's run by complete idiots, but whatever. Video games.
Yeah, that sounds suspiciously like our public transport system.
I mean, when I played Mini Metro, it was like I felt a little bit sympathetic towards people who manage this kind of things, and then I actually use it, and I'm like, nah, I made a much more efficient system.
Have you played City Skylines at all? I don't know if that's in your wheelhouse. Okay.
Okay. As far as have I played it goes, most of the time I own it. But yeah, I played the City Skyline a long time ago. At launch. Not much since. It's a game that I have installed on all my laptops. So if I'm traveling, then I've got something to do.
Yeah. It's pretty chill for something like that, I would imagine.
Yeah. I mean most games I play are probably going to be always online only, or they require to be connected online. But if I'm on the move, then City Skyline is my kind of go-to game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I always get into the same rut. This damn game. It's always I have the perfect idea for my utopian city, and I'll start building out. I've got everything planned out. My wind power's here. My solar farm's there. I've got my little industrial area. My commercial area. My residential area, and then it all just goes to shit because it just gets way too hectic. Just never-ending micromanagement. I'm like, you know what? At some point there was a moment where everything just I did too much too quickly, and I look at it, I'm like, fuck, where's that bulldozer? I'm gonna take you all down. It's going, you're all going.
Yeah, I think my problem that I had when I was frequently playing cities was I'd start up a new map and everything would be all cozy and nice, and then I would build literally infinite things, and oops, all my money's gone. Oh no, I can't build anymore, so now I just kind of have to wait and hope things don't break down. Oh god.
I mean, as for any city building game, it's literally, there is that moment where you're just like, okay, I'm going to raise the tax up by a couple of %. I'm going to sit here, I'm going to do nothing for 15 minutes, just praying to whoever's out there that this all works out. Politics 101.
I think when I was playing it, I think the thing that got me was I hadn't realized that you have to deal with citizens who die, and then people started dying, and I didn't know what to do, and more of them kept dying, and every building was filling up with dead people, and it was kind of morbid.
Yeah, that freaked me the fuck out the first time. I was like, okay, you're dead.
I didn't know what to do.
I can't remember if there's anything you actively have to do. I know there was a cemetery, but I don't know if like someone would automatically pick them up or not.
Oh yeah, once you have cemeteries and stuff, people will just begin driving around in hearses. So you need to just make sure that you have enough like coverage to move all the dead people into cemeteries, and also make sure that the cemeteries don't fill up, because much like the garbage dumps, cemeteries can fill up too, which means you'll have to build another one.
Is there a crematorium?
There actually is, but it's not until the late game.
Right. Yeah, that's a late game item.
But you can get a crematorium after that. Cities is wild.
It's been a while since I touched that. I was
one of the first problems I had with that game too was I was running sewage down the river and it was getting picked up by the water pipes and everybody got very, very sick.
Oh, did you have them in backwards?
Didn't realize the water. I
didn't
realize that
there's a flow to the river.
I didn't realize it was
you're
flowing
gonna kill
in that
people.
direction.
You're making them drink their own shit. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Very New Zealand thing to do.
Oh.
You can see it, can't you? Doesn't it have like green come out or brown come out or something of the sewer pipes?
Yeah, you can. And I did. By the time I realized that it was like I was off in another part of my city doing other things. So by the time I realized it, the entire like section of the river was just purple. And
that's right, purple.
I was like, oh no. And people got very sick. It was not a good situation. I wiped out that file very, very fast. I'm sorry to all the citizens of my virtual cities. If you're hearing this, I do love you, but you're probably gone. I'm very sorry.
If you're listening to this, that's interesting. How do you manage that?
There's radio stations in the game now.
Are we one of them?
We could be. I mean, you could put in custom soundtracks and stuff like that.
You can listen to yourself talk while you play this game.
It's terrible. It used to be my podcast game, and for a while Overwatch was too. Like these were like games I'd boot up and like listen to podcasts because I didn't really, I've heard the audio enough.
Or, for ages,
I didn't. In Overwatch's case, there's not like a lot.
For ages, I didn't understand that, and like my flatmate will play games and watch a video or something at the same time. I didn't get it for ages, but then after having played through Diablo 3 the first time and gone back to it for seasons, I found I don't need to listen to this. So it's become my podcast game now. While I'm playing that, when a new season comes around, I want to try a new character, I'll just listen to a podcast at the same time. Normally, I hate trying to multitask with games because I like playing a lot of narrative games and I'll try to give it my full attention. But Diablo 3 has just become one where I can listen to a podcast and do something at the same time.
So I did a video about all of this.
Yeah?
It was called How to Make a Relaxing Video Game. And I was talking about how once you... there's a whole lot of like psychological like science behind it, but that I throw in there. But there's this graph of skill versus challenge. And once you've mastered a game and your level of skill outweighs the amount of perceived challenge that the game presents, you go into a state of relaxation, and that's when you can start. You don't have to be cerebral with your game anymore. So, like for example, say like Euro Truck Simulator 2. There's a lot of systems in that game, but that's my podcast game, by the way. You got, and I will literally just zone out and listen to podcasts for hours on end, just playing Euro Truck Simulator, driving across virtual Europe. People. I mean. That's the thing. Once you've mastered a game, so in your case, Mark, it would be Diablo 3. You know how Diablo 3 works. You don't need to follow the story. You just go through it and do whatever you need to do. I mean, it's a complex game, but you've mastered it, and your level of skill outweighs the challenge tremendously. So now your brain can focus on something else, and you're like, cool, chill, let's roll.
Yeah. So is that why I felt chill as fuck when I was playing Dark Souls?
Well, your skill is pretty damn good.
No, at Dark Souls, I mean, the other thing about Dark Souls 2 is it's got a rhythm to it, I would say. And once you have the rhythm of Dark Souls and you like understand, you've internalized how things telegraph and kind of how to do kind of anything in Dark Souls. Once you've got those systems internalized, even if the game is still challenging and your skill doesn't match it, I find that you can still get into that state of relaxation.
Oh yeah, I mean that was one of the examples that I presented, that it is more than possible to find something like Dark Souls relaxing, because at one point you will be able to like your skill and your knowledge of the game will outweigh the perceived challenge once you get into that flow.
Yeah, I suppose the key is the perceived challenge there.
Yeah.
Rather than actual challenge. And it's good that you've mentioned flow as well, because Dark Souls is also, it's got a really good sense of flow. I also really like the sense of flow that games like No Man's Sky had. And I actually really like the sense of flow that Horizon has as well, in the few hours that I've spent with that. There's very few games where I can get into that kind of flow state, and it's a sign of a well-designed game when I can actually get into it then.
Yeah, I think that's what happened with me for Oxygen Not Included. There was a lot of challenge in that game, and micromanaging all these little beings and keeping them alive and having them do stuff and not be stressed. Yeah, that's how I ended up been lost in that game all week. 28 hours later, that's a day. That's a day and a bit.
Yeah, that's a full day and a bit, dude.
Yeah, I don't have that kind of time. I got businesses to run. I got people to take care of. How am I gonna?
Shit.
What?
I think you're finding yourself in a similar situation to like stuff like people got into with RimWorld and stuff like that. People got super into that game.
Yeah, my flatmate's been playing a lot of RimWorld.
I think, from what you were mentioning earlier as well, from Oxygen Not Included, it sounds like it's going to be very much kind of in Mark's wheelhouse, especially considering it's got details like all the gases having different weights, and also it being in space. And
yeah, these are all good tick marks for me.
and it's from really great game designers too. Like, I totally agree with his assessment that Clay are a really, really great design house. They've got Invisible Ink, Don't Starve, Mark of the Ninja.
That was a game that I played that one. I really liked that game. I haven't played Don't Starve, but Mark of the Ninja was really good. Just a thought as well on that relaxation thing. One thing that I bring up quite often, because it's something that I often don't like about games, is when the challenge will continually ramp up and it gets harder and harder and harder. And I mean, you'll see this with a lot of games where the idea is just go as long as you can, but eventually you're gonna lose. Oh. And some other games like XCOM, I've every time we talk about XCOM, I bring it up, how the game gets harder and harder and harder. And I often get to a point where I'm like, this has gotten more intense than I'd like it to. It'd be nice if I could just stop and stay at a consistent challenge and sit there. And it's really nice when games do that. And I think the games we're talking about as ones we relax to are ones that will do that. It's not going to continually get harder and harder and harder. It's going to get to a point where it's going to continue offering a consistent level of challenge.
I feel like Minecraft was one of the first games that offered that for me. Like, all those years ago when I was first playing the beta.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was the whole like, how do you survive the first day? Once you've done that,
you're sweet. You're good. After that,
then it's a lot of you making the challenge for yourself. How much do you want to get out of a given day? Do you want to do like mining and build up like resources? Do you need to do all manner of these, like, from complex to semi-complex things? You do all of this, and you do end up keeping that consistent level of challenge, and you never
need to set the level yourself as well.
Yeah, and again, you set that level for yourself, so you never really go above what you want, which is, it's kind of a fascinating way to experience a game, I guess. I've been more used to the either challenge ramps up or there isn't any, like a narrative game. It doesn't necessarily have any challenge, I would say. Except, maybe narrative themes now and again. But you don't tend to be challenged in terms of skill with a narrative game.
Though they're difficult ones to multitask with if you have to pay attention to the narrative as well.
Yeah, they're very difficult to multitask with. I don't think I could play Night in the Woods and do another thing at the same time, because Night in the Woods has so much text that if I heard so much as a spoken word, I would just completely lose the thread.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, that's another game that I've been playing. No, I played that last
Night
week.
in the Woods?
Yeah.
What have you thought about it so far?
May is an awful person. I mean, okay, objectively, the game is great. It's got some amazing character development and all. I just don't like May. She's an awful person. B, though, she's awesome.
I wouldn't disagree with that assessment.
B.
Sorry. Oh, yeah, B. B
awesome.
is... I love B. B is good. Greg is good. I really, really like Greg.
Yeah.
Angus.
Yeah, Angus is cool. So, I mean, my assessment is, like, if I was to recommend it to anyone, I would say it's a great game. It's a great story. It drags, by the way. It takes a very long time. And the character that you play is an awful person. Like, Jesus Christ. She's awful. I hate her. Like, I would not be friends with this person in real life.
I think it's really interesting that you mentioned that, because I remember seeing not long ago one of the developers, Scott Benson, was talking on Twitter about kind of the older you are, it seems the less you like May, and the younger you are, like the closer you are to like the 18s, the 20s, like early 20s, the more you actually end up liking her. And that's a really, really fascinating divide to me. And it seems very real.
It is.
I've heard some discussion of people talking about like, oh, when you're in your 20s, you kind of like, you hate your parents and you don't really like, you feel kind of detached from everything when you're in your early 20s.
Yeah. I mean, I think it captures the whole like millennial experience really well.
Yeah. It really tries to do that.
Yeah. Where you don't fit in, you everything becomes too stressful. You come back home and everything's just awkward. Everything's out of place. Like, I get that. I'm just not. I don't know. I wouldn't be as sarcastic as she is, or as rude. Really, I don't know. I was brought up with manners.
I think that's a fair statement.
Yeah.
One thing I really like about Night in the Woods is you mentioned that it drags a bit, and did you find that was because of like the tedium of being in a small town?
No, it was okay. So, at first, when I first started playing, I was like, I will let this. It's text heavy, so I'm just gonna let it go. I'll have this as my game where I just like sit back and relax to. But everything about it is very slow. Like, moving is quite slow, so I have to just bunny hop everywhere. And the text animation, which I don't want to turn off, otherwise I'd hate the game if the text animation wasn't in there. It takes its time, and I was like, you're doing this on purpose. I get it. Character development. I already know what all these characters are like. Come on, you don't need 4 pages of the same. Hi, mum. Okay, mum. Bye, mum. Going out now, mum. Just
a lot of that stuff. It like, I connect to that personally because it really kind of hits home. It used to be what my life was like. I've lived in small towns for a lot of my life, and only a couple of years ago moved to a town that was even remotely larger. So a lot of this has been really connecting to me. A lot of the same stuff that a lot of people have like definitely criticized in the game. Like, people have criticized the tedium of the small town. People have criticized May as a character, like you did earlier. And like all of these things are like things I've ended up connecting to because they really, really hit home on my life experience. I think it's a really fascinating thing to see people like criticizing stuff like that for me personally. I think it's I think it's utterly fascinating and cool, and I want to see more games like this that prompt this kind of discussion. And it's just a little weird for me, and I like it that way.
Oh yeah, I mean it's an important game. Like I can't like deny that it's a game that captures a moment in people's lives that a lot of people have at least definitely experienced.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that we're going in that direction. The fact that there is a game that it captures that 18 to 21 experience where, you know, if you went to college or university, you have that, okay, what am I doing now phase, that moment, that uncertainty. And we can say to someone, if you can say to anyone who is coming to that age, say, yo, just play this game. It's okay. You're fine. It's good. Like it helps you understand that moment, which is great. It's basically what drug PSAs were trying to do in the 70s. It is what it is. Night in the Woods is the drug PSA of 2017.
But for millennials.
Yeah. But now that we know how to
PSA for millennials.
Now we know how to approach young people and say, instead of saying don't do drugs, we say, look, it's okay, we get it.
Sorry I've been quiet, I just haven't played this game.
No, it's all good. I still recommend you play this game, Mark.
I know, but it's going to be several dozen more hours, I think, before I'm done with Horizon.
Yeah, you are really taking your time with
I always take my time. It's interesting that you mentioned before, Sid, how it pained you that movement was slow, and I can get that when you want to move faster, but I'm the sort of person who will want to walk around instead of run in a lot of games. If I watch my flatmate playing Horizons and he'll be running and jumping everywhere and I'm sort of cringing as he does it, where I'll if I'm in town, I'll purposefully walk and enjoy just taking in the environment of it. I think Horizon's done a really nice job of the environment as well. I've noticed a bunch of little touches that have been really cool, thoughts gone into it. But the big thing that has kept me going on it is the thing I mentioned before about progression, where it doesn't keep getting harder and harder and harder and harder. You do encounter more difficult enemies as it goes on, but the difficulty is based on the amount of tools you have access to and your skill, and that's kind of it. Your damage output doesn't increase as you level up, and I really like that. You get more hit points, so you're a bit hardier, but it means that if you go to an early on point in the game and you get ambushed by some weak enemies and you're not prepared to take care of them, you can still get thrashed. And if you're really good, you can go up against some really hard enemies while you're still low level, and if you know what you're doing, you can beat them. And I really like that. I don't have to worry about over-leveling, which I do in some open-world games that might have a lot of side quests or something. I don't need to worry about enemies leveling with me and never being able to feel powerful because I've gotten really good against this enemy that I've fought a lot. There's an early enemy in the game which essentially you can kill in one hit if you hit in the right spot. And at the start, they're the most challenging thing you face. And now it's okay, cool. I can take these things out easily, but I can be in trouble if there's 6 of them and I'm not prepared for them. And I really like that aspect of it. And I think it's going to be something that keeps me coming back to it as well. It's something that reminds me a bit of Monster Hunter as well, just like I mentioned before with turning off the health bars.
Yeah. You have spent, easily hundreds of hours
in Monster Hunter games, yeah.
And you
Although that's
mostly co-op, eh?
Yeah. Co-op swap brings me back to that.
Sorry. Yeah, I think the bigger the game is, or the fact that there's so much to do in Horizons. If I was playing Horizons, I'd probably do the same as you, and I would go around slowly. I mean, I do the same in Wildlands, which is, I have a couple of friends who just want to charge through and get through all the bosses, and I'm like, let's do a few side missions. Let's take a look at this pretty mountain over here.
Yeah.
And that's how I. But thinking about it now, it's freaking me the fuck out now. In Night in the Woods, I just want to get it over with because I know that all I can do is just talk to these people in this tiny town, but it's taken forever to do so. However, in Wildlands, I'm, driving around in awful car physics and trying to. The car physics are so bad in this game. I've mastered it now.
Is it? Is it jaggy when you're driving the car? Because I noticed that when my flatmate was playing the beta, that the car physics looked like they were running at a different frame rate to the game. It was kind of weird.
It's not so much that. It's just there's no physics.
Is it kind of like a Watch Dogs situation where
it's a Watch Dogs 1 situation?
Ooh, no, that's even worse.
It's very floaty. The cars are very floaty.
Right.
It's better than it was in the beta, but mean, one of my friends last night when we were playing was saying that did they improve the car physics, and I was like, no, that's just me. I'm just a really good driver. Because there's come to a point now where I can like do perfect drifts and turns on a mountain, going winding roads, and I'm like, yeah, I've got it now. I'm used to it, so I'm happy. Like, it's still shit. Like, don't get it wrong. It is fucking awful. It is some of the worst driving in a game you could get, but I've mastered it, so I'm okay.
Hey, do you remember when Ubisoft made a driving MMO? Hey,
The Crew.
Do you remember that?
Yes. Oh, man.
I'd forgotten about that.
They were hoping you did too.
They tried to give it away a while ago, just to anybody who would have it. I don't know how many people would have picked up on that offer, because
I mean, it's a fun game. It's a fun game. It's just it suffers from Ubisoft's writers, and I don't know what it is about Ubisoft, but they are the cringiest games writers in the world. They take themselves so seriously that they've come to the point where they're like, you know what, fuck it. We've become a meme. Let's just make that meme Watch Dogs 2. And it worked out for them. But, like, so, The Crew, I don't know how much of it you played, but I played a fair chunk of it. And they take this whole, like, criminal underworld really seriously. But their criminal underworld is based around really fast cars.
So, like a Need for Speed Most Wanted.
Yeah, except that I don't understand why. Look, listen, if you want to drive around in a car and race, just race. You don't need to have like your Vin Diesel moment, sort of Fast and Furious lifestyle, like where yes, everything is revolving around cars. We have an entire like nationwide crew of people who all wear the same 513 tattoo. Who rank up and like who have RPG systems built into their criminal underworld. Yeah.
Oh shit!
You can't drive unless you only drive a Mustang.
I really loved Need for Speed Most Wanted back in the day. Like I'm talking about the old like.
Oh, Need for Speed 3, wasn't it?
No, like the PS2 or GameCube era where you had Need for Speed Most Wanted, and there was actually like a criminal underworld, and you had to get up this blacklist.
Oh right, sorry, I was thinking of Hot Pursuit. That was earlier.
Yeah, no, this was.
Yeah, I remember this one. I remember the one you're talking about. I used to always go back and do the bosses again if I hadn't won their car.
Oh shit! Yeah, that was the thing that you did.
I think it was it the sequel? It was a Most Wanted 2 or something where sometimes you could do everything perfectly and still not get the boss's car because it was a semi-random system. So you just have to load and do it again because of course you have to collect every boss's car.
Yeah, I think that was just in like Most Wanted in general. You could pick you had like 3 cards.
Yeah, and you got 2 of them,
and it
right?
would give you like one would give you some cash or something like that. 2 were random, and one was the pink slip.
And then sometimes you just wouldn't get it, and it'll be like,
you always wanted that pink slip, because if you didn't get the pink slip, what the fuck was the point?
Yeah, exactly.
Because all the bosses had super dope cars.
Well, they all had unique cars.
So, okay, yeah, maybe my memory of this game is like misleading me. I was like always kind of back when I was a small child, I was shocked by the twist where your car would have been sabotaged and taken by a person who became number 1 on the blacklist. And
Oh,
now I'm
that's right.
thinking about it, and like, they turned a racing game into a revenge story. What the fuck?
So much cringe.
It's like a lot.
Like,
It's a lot to think about now.
I mean, I don't know what EA and Ubisoft think about like criminal undergrounds, but I don't think winning a race against the head honcho of a crime syndicate is just going to hand over his card like, well done, kid. Like, you're telling me that this guy has the honor to hand you his pink slip, but sure, whatever. At the beginning of the game, he killed your brother. Sure, all right. Sure, all right.
Sure thing.
But he has the honorable ability to just hand you his pink slip and say, "Yeah, you won. You are now the head of this crime organization."
Some fucking pirate code shit or something.
That's yeah. Games writing is very far away from being any good. But yeah, the crew.
I was from anything good at all.
I mean, the crew was kind of the perfect game for me at the time in terms of idea. Okay, so a huge map where you drive the entire USA, well, kind of the USA, and you just drive and do some races. That's perfect for me because I loved Burnout Paradise. I just want racing and open world. I don't like singular races. It bores the shit out of me. But then they had to tack on this stupid story, and I'm just crying. It's like, can't believe you dragged Troy Baker into this.
Oh God, was he involved in that process?
He was the lead character. He was the.
Shit!
It came out at the time where Troy Baker was doing literally everything. That was the year that it was Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. It was The Crew. It was Shadow of Mordor. It was basically the year of Troy Baker. It was the one.
No, that wouldn't have been The Last of Us. No, that would have been a couple of years before at that point.
Yeah. It was the year that Troy Baker was more popular than Nolan North.
Nolan North's still fucking everywhere. I also distinctly remember the first time I booted up Saints Row 4, and one of the voice options was just Nolan North. That's it. Like, you had male 1 to 3, female 1 to 3, Nolan North.
Oh man. No, Troy Baker was in there. He was male too.
Oh shit!
He's the the Cockney guy.
Oh Christ!
I'm the boss. That guy.
Oh
that voice. That's male too. That was Troy Baker.
Oh no! That's terrible.
Yeah. No fairness, that was
Troy
the voice
Baker.
that I
Troy
picked.
Baker was also inexplicably Revolver Ocelot in Metal Gear Solid 5. What the fuck?
Oh, I have this love-hate relationship with Metal Gear Solid 5. It's so stupid.
Same.
And it's amazing. Oh, okay, I'm a massive Metal Gear fan. But I can't get over Miller's speech. I love it so much. And there's a kind of meme where people randomly use the speech on like Tinder messages. They'll randomly message saying, "Why are we still here? Just to suffer?"
Stupid.
And then just the whole thing. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but then it goes into like, "I can still feel my arm, my legs.
Oh right, when you're
Even
in the
my
helicopter, I remember this.
The body I've lost.
Fuck.
We'll make them give back our past." It's just
And just from like, well, there was one. They played us like a damn fiddle. That was another one that was a big thing on the internet for a while.
I mean, the crew did it to me. I thought it was going to be an open world, just racing game, but it was a underground game. They played me like a damn fiddle.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I have yet to play through a lot of the Metal Gear Solid games. I've talked about how I've played Metal Gear Solid 3 on the 3DS.
On the 3DS?
Yeah, they have Metal Gear Solid 3D Snake Eater.
Why would you
It was one of the
do that?
3DS launch titles. It was my first exposure to a Metal Gear Solid game, okay? Yeah, I had a friend who was really excited about. He was really excited about Metal Gear Solid 5 at the time, and I was like, well, maybe I should check out whatever the fuck this Metal Gear Solid thing is. And the only system I had at the time which had a Metal Gear Solid game on it was the 3DS. So I was like, well, I guess this'll do.
Metal Gear Solid 1's on PC.
Is it?
Yeah, it's difficult to find though.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I could also just emulate. Nowadays, I could just emulate the Metal Gear Solid 1 and all that, but I also own it on PS3. I own all the games on PS3.
Yeah, just do it on PS3.
Yeah.
But yeah, just play Metal Gear Solid 1, then play 2, then play 3, ignore 4. Let's just leave that out. Don't worry about that.
I've heard really good things about 4.
I mean, if they ported that to the PS4, where they didn't have... Okay, there's a lot of issues with Metal Gear Solid 4. One, it's basically... Alright, Kojima just went at 4, was like, you know what, I'm done with Metal Gear, I'm not going to do this anymore. And they just took you through every section of every of the previous games. So you go to Shadow Moses in MGS1, you go through the jungle in the 3, you go through the big tanker in 2, and you go... It's just rehashing. It's nostalgia bait 101.
It's a greatest hits kind of situation.
But it's got so much. It's got a lot of issues. It's got a lot of questionable issues, like the portrayal of women, awful.
That's like a Kojima standard.
Oh yeah, the Magic Negro, who sells you guns. The loading times are fucking awful. I mean, Christ, are they awful? Actually, probably the worst loading times in any game ever.
I mean,
and then he does the whole cutscene bullshit as well, where literally there is at least one cutscene that's over 2 hours long.
That's like the thing about that though is like that doesn't appeal to most people, but that's extremely my shit.
I mean, by all means, go for it. Like, go right ahead. Be my guest.
Yeah, like
I've
heard that it's extremely cutscene heavy, and that's very much my thing. I really, really enjoy game cinematic a lot of the time, so that's right up my wheelhouse.
The first time I played it with a friend, and we had this thing where I would just let him play it, and I'd watch because I'm lazy as shit. And I'll get the achievements. It's fine by me. It's my account. It's my PlayStation. Whatever. And so I just let him play. And so we usually played for about 2 hours each time, and he'd come around every day. And then it was at that point where we loaded up the game. We waited half an hour for the game to load, and then we played for 2 hours, and it was just a cutscene. And we were like, "Hey, well."
Well, that sure did happen, didn't it?
Guess I didn't need to charge the controller after all.
Jeez. Good times.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, I've only really fully played through one Metal Gear now, and it was Metal Gear 5. Woofa-doofa. That's some rough stuff. I did really enjoy it though.
I mean, I love it because the gameplay is awesome. The story's a piece of shit.
The systems in Metal Gear Solid 5 are fantastic, except for the combat, which in a late game scenario, which forces you into a lot of it, it gets very bad very fast.
Wait, which bit?
I think you may know the one. I can't spoil it because I don't think Mark has beaten the game yet.
I've played part 1 in quotes, but not what I'm guessing is the second half of the game.
I mean, part 2 is just basically part 1, but do the missions again. That's semantics.
Right. Okay.
There's a few new ones. There's it's right near the end of the Quiet Story that this very, very combat heavy section was, and there was a lot of tanks.
That one.
Yeah, that one. That was a fucking nightmare. I hated that, but everything else in the game was mostly good. Like gameplay wise, I really enjoyed how all of the systems worked, and I really, really hope someone nabs that staff system and puts it into something else. I think that'd be fascinating to see done.
Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah, oh yeah, just kidnap a bunch of people
Yeah.
from their homes.
I locked you out and kidnapped you. You're my friend now.
And every time I come visit you,
Shit,
I'm going
is
to
what
beat
that
you the fuck
is.
up.
Yeah,
And then
you're gonna love me for it.
You're going to love it. That's what's going to happen.
Everybody on Mother Base is like super hardcore, and just really, really enjoys getting beat up. It's oh god, it's so whack. I love video games.
Like, I love
Video
Big Boss as a
games.
character. Like, you know, if I'm ever going to cosplay as anyone, it's the easiest one for me to do. So,
Yeah.
but my God, these people that you kidnap, like, these people have families, probably have kids, maybe grandkids. Like,
Oh god.
they're probably like their family's still collecting like pension checks or something from the local governments that you're taking down. And now they're constantly getting beaten, bruised, and then there's the ending.
There's that whole thing that
Yeah.
does happen. Yep. Oh
Must
boy.
suck for whoever the baddies have hired to go to all these people's families and say, "I'm sorry, Snake killed your husband."
It's, yeah, you and your neighbor and everyone else
Yeah,
in this small town from where all these soldiers came from. I'm sorry.
Everyone
to say
gather round.
This
all of your husbands have been taken.
This man.
don't know who.
Hear ye. All the men are gone.
Just fear the balloon in the sky, for that may be your husband or your son.
Or a horse.
Flying to outer heaven.
And then they
In
look
a
to the
war
sky, there's a balloon
without
floating
ends.
away, and they're like, holy shit, is that my sheep?
See, okay, so the other game that has just balloons floating on shit through the sky, it's Animal Crossing.
Yeah?
There's like a thread tying Animal Crossing and Metal Gear Solid 5, except in only one of these games do you shoot down the balloons and get the various things that they are carrying.
Yeah, and the other one you abduct people with them, so...
Yeah.
the opposite, isn't it?
God, Animal Crossing. I haven't been back to my town in a while. It's probably infested with weeds. Oh, I don't want to think about that.
You're going to load up Animal Crossing, you're going to
You'll
walk
have like
in
an
and
itch the rest of the week.
there's just all
Oh, no, you're probably right.
that annoying fucking bear's just going to look at you and be just like, oh, where have you been? It's been so long.
It's been 6,000 years. Where have you been?
You said you'd see me at 4 a.m.
Oh, I've done that more than enough times. Said I'll hang out with these virtual animals at various times, and then totally bailed on them and felt like an asshole for like hours.
I don't know what
Fuck,
the
I
game
love
designers
Animal
were thinking.
Crossing.
Like, this game was designed for kids, and you're telling me that this kid has to go wake up at 4:30 in the morning and hang out with this fucking imaginary thing. Don't kids have school? You know, come on.
Let's make children hang out with furries. This will be fine.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Sure. But it's more of a, like, at 4 a.m, right? If I have a kid, they're not playing any video games at 4 a.m, not until they're like 16 and they have their own
you can
computer.
choose the time that you meet up with these virtual animals. But the problem therein is, on occasion, I have done the thing where I forget what AM and PM mean, so I've accidentally agreed to meet up with various virtual animals at 5:30 in the morning and been like, oh god, oh no, I've screwed this up very much. The worst I could, in fact. God.
Of course,
That's
I mean,
probably
like,
coming to the Switch at some point.
here's me sitting here not having played this game thinking, just don't do it. Just sleep.
Mark,
It's
don't
more
do it.
important.
Don't do it. Just
Don't
whatever
play-
you
don't-
do. Just like if you want a balanced game of a similar kind of nature, just play Stardew Valley, because that's a game that respects you as a player.
And
Animal
it is
Crossing
one that
just
I've played
says
and enjoyed.
Exactly. Stardew Valley. I fucking love this game. I love the guy who made it. I don't have like heroes per se, like people that I look up to, but this guy, I love him. If I have ever had a hero, it would be Eric Barone.
Yeah, he seems like such a genuinely good dude. And I also very much like that he got to meet up with the creator of Harvest Moon and like play a new Harvest Moon game, and the Harvest Moon guy played Stardew Valley, and they both had like huge respect for each other, and I love that so much.
I hadn't heard it. I hadn't heard that. That's great.
Yeah, like the creator of Harvest Moon really, really loves Stardew Valley, and like thinks it's a meaningful improvement to what Harvest Moon did, and that is. Oh,
I mean,
it's
at this point, I think Harvest Moon should. The guy, I don't know who it is, but he should just say, you know what, I'm done. Cool, you do.
I'm going to do new things.
I'm just going to give up. Like, you're the captain now. Go.
Stardew Valley is going to be on the Switch pretty soon. That's going to fucking own. They're getting a collector's edition for the PS4 and Xbox One as well.
A collector's edition?
Comes with and it comes with like a guide. It was drawn like there was a guide that was published by Fangamer recently, which was illustrated by Carrie Fry. I'll have to link this to you because it's really, really cute. And part of that guide is being included in this collector's edition of Stardew Valley.
Oh. Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather just have the game, but whatever. Sure.
That's fair. Well, hey, I think that's going to do it for us this week.
Okay.
Sid.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to playing this week?
Unfortunately, not much, because I'm currently working on a video about walking simulators, which means I have to play a whole bunch of walking simulators and record them. So, fuck my life.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. No, but the thing is, I've gone out I have this 10,000 word essay, of which I then have to record audio for, about all the good things about walking simulators and why they're important and good for the industry. Even though I hate walking simulators, like, I can understand their purpose and their place. Like, Firewatch is a good game. I just don't personally like it.
Huh.
And same with like
I really enjoyed Firewatch.
Same with like Gone Home. I don't personally like the game, but it's an excellent example of environmental storytelling and that kind of thing. So I give everyone a fair shake here in this overly long video, which is going to take me forever to finish. But sure, whatever. But I think I'm probably going to be spending most of this next week rewatching the trailers for Shadow of War, because that looks fucking amazing. Holy shit.
Ooh. I haven't heard about this. Is this a Shadow of Mordor sequel?
Yes, it is. They literally, like last night, they released the gameplay, the video for it. Like, so they had the trailer, which is obviously the CGI shit, which hype. It basically spoils the very ending of Shadow of Mordor. So if you haven't finished Shadow of Mordor, play it, then watch the trailer. And then in Shadow of War, it follows directly on, and they released the gameplay footage for it, and oh my god, there's so much.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes way past canon. And seeing as you guys are from New Zealand, I'm pretty sure that this may like hurt you because but I'm my girlfriend's from Birmingham, so that's basically where the actual Barad-dûr is. Like there is the actual like clock tower based on the eye. So yeah, the gameplay looks so good, and I'm not someone that gets hyped about games, but holy shit, I'm excited.
Awesome. Do we know when it's coming out?
August, I think.
Okay. Cool, because Jess and I got a big split where I really enjoyed Shadow of Mordor, and you really didn't, eh, Jess?
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it for like I've talked about this before, so I'll keep this brief. I don't think the Nemesis system worked as intended when I was playing it. The sound design drove me fucking up the wall. And
yeah, I was listening to
most-
that episode the other day when you were talking about that.
Yeah, that's like most of my beef with that game. It's the sound design drove me up the fucking wall.
And like I mentioned earlier, I
that's
just
my
did not
Mordor
notice.
beef. Yeah, that's my Mordor beef. I've talked about it so much on this show. But we'll see how Shadow of War develops. I think that is that the game you're most looking forward to right now? Because it sounds like it might be.
Well, it was Wildlands, but now Wildlands is out. But I was only excited because me and my friend are just going to play it and just drive around the world and kill brown people, because why not? And now I need something else to be excited for, and it's going to be Shadow of War now. Because who doesn't love Middle Earth? And I'm not like a Tolkien purist. Like, yes, there's canon, but at this point, right, I just want to run around Mordor.
Yeah, it's a fan fiction game, and that's fine.
Exactly.
In my book, right?
Exactly. It's legitimizing fan fiction, and I'm okay with that to an extent.
I'm okay with I'm very okay with fan fiction games. I wish that we would see more of that, but I think Middle Earth is kind of it right now. I mean, unless you count Kingdom Hearts. That's definitely in fan fiction territory.
Oh yeah. Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's Final Fantasy characters and Disney characters.
But if it's like sanctioned, is it fan fiction?
Well, I mean, technically, Shadow of Mordor is sanctioned as well, but
I suppose.
But
not by Tolkien, not by the original author.
No. Whereas
I'm certain that Walt Disney did not sanction his characters being used in conjunction with
I'm
Final
probably being
Fantasy.
inconsistent here.
Kingdom Hearts is a business deal. Shadow
Apparently,
of Mordor.
it's got a whack origin story, and I will need to find the details of this so that I can talk about it some other time, because it's completely off the rails.
It is. It's Kingdom Hearts. I just let it be. It's something just don't overthink it. It's one of those games. Just play.
Yeah, I've noticed that, believe me. I'm going through it for the first time in the year 2017. It is completely crazy. I think the game I'm most looking forward to right now, personally, is actually gonna be Persona 5. Surprising fucking nobody if they've listened to this show before. So that's my thing. Mark, do you have anything that you're looking forward to that's coming up in the next couple months?
So I avoid looking ahead to watch trailers and stuff like that, but I am looking forward to Andromeda just because I love the Mass Effect trilogy so much. I want to play more of it. Although my head's so deep in Horizon now, it's hard for me to get hyped about anything else.
That's fair enough. You're looking forward to playing more Horizon this week?
Oh yeah, I'll see if I can make 50 hours by next episode. I don't know. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be playing a lot more Horizon. My current save is right before the next big story mission, so I'm kind of waiting until I've got an evening to give to it before I can play it next, so hopefully tomorrow night.
Have you been playing any more Just Cause 3? Because you were playing that for a minute.
Yeah, but that's my fuck around game, and now that I've got my head in a story, I'm going to stick with Horizon, and I'm going to come back to Just Cause just when I don't have another game to play, and I want to have a fun fuck around game to play. I'm just when I'm in the middle
Just
of the
Cause
story.
3 Just Cause 3 is the game that you, when you want to play something, but you don't want to continue on with the story of a main game, and you're like, you know what, I just want to fuck about for half an hour.
Yeah, that's what I had with Just Cause 2 for ages, but now I've got Just Cause 3 because it was on sale recently, and it's been really fun to just I'm gonna go wingsuit around for 20 minutes or whatever.
Still need to beat that time.
You will not beat it.
I will fucking do it, dude.
It'll take you 25 minutes to beat it. Do you have the stamina?
I can probably find it somewhere.
What are you going to be playing this week?
Oh god, this week, probably going to continue with Watch Dogs 2, which I didn't talk about in the first section, but I've been playing a bit of that this week. And I've been enjoying some of the side stuff that's been cropping up. There's been some really, really cool and interesting puzzle solving stuff.
Nice, because you've played through part of the game before, but not the whole thing. So some of it's new to you, and some of it's old.
I've played through like Act 1, essentially.
Right. Okay.
So, I didn't get very far at all. Now I'm gonna see about finishing that up.
Nice.
Probably some more time with Horizon. I don't know what else. Just Cause 3 probably also will be a thing that I play.
You can play 25 minutes of it.
No, I've gotten through. I've liberated the first section of Islands again, and I have all the DLC to play for the first time.
Oh right, you haven't played it before. Cool.
Yeah, I've played through the main game, just not all of the DLC. So I'm going to do that. Have a good time with that.
Nice.
All right, Sid.
Hello.
You host a show on the internet that is not this show. Where can people find that show?
You can find the I'm Just Playin podcast at I'mJustPlayin.com. It has no G at the end. It's literally I'm Just Playin. .com. You can listen to that on Pocket Casts, TuneIn, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, I guess. Yeah, that's basically it. There's no shows this week because I've been ill. But we have 2 shows every week, Mondays and Thursdays. Yeah, and I also have a YouTube channel called Leonardo da Sidci, where I have a series called The Sid Course, like discourse, but my name is Sid. Where I do video essays about game design and cool things. So yeah, that.
Excellent. And that is also where people can find you on Twitter, if that's...
Yes, yeah. I mean, I barely use Twitter. I kind of... I try... I used to be very big on Twitter. Not as in, like... Not that I was a celebrity. I mean, I just used it. But now, I'm like, I don't know, man. I got all this work to do, but I got all these games to play and all these podcasts to edit and these videos to make. And I'm like, do I really need to tell people what I'm thinking? Nah, I'm okay.
You can find myself on Twitter. You can find me basically anywhere at cockatielcutie. You can also find me at the URL bird.school. Mark, where can people find you on the internet?
I'm on Twitter at HonestUniverse, and I blog as well, but not about video games at honestuniverse.com.
What do you blog about?
More
science communication and skepticism. So, like quackery and stuff. So I talk about quite a bit on that. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Okay. I mean, wow. I mean, who'd have thought?
It's quite different to video games.
Yeah, man. I did not know that people could have 2 hobbies. Shit.
Couple quick things as well. If you would like to support the show, we are on Patreon, patreon.com/PauseCastShow. If you're listening on iTunes, please consider giving us a rating or review. It helps us out a bunch. What else? You can find the show everywhere, kind of. We are at PauseCast Show most places. We're on Facebook as a Facebook group. We're on Twitter. Find us all, PauseCast Show. Thank you to Leon for our theme music. It is called Honey Milk Island, and it is available for free on SoundCloud. You can go to soundcloud.com/LEYAWN to find out more. And that's it. That's going to do it for us. Oh, no, one more thing. Sorry, no. We have video games to give away. If you want free video games, all you have to do is email us. We have copies of Moon Hunters, Dragon's Dogma. I think I have a copy of XCOM 2 still. That I would have to confirm that, but I think I have a copy of XCOM 2.
They're good games. Ask for them.
Yeah. We'll just give them away to you. Free video games. I have a bunch more. I have to actually go sort through my humble library and figure out what I can give away. And that is going to do it. PausecastShow@gmail.com if you want to get free video games. That's us for this week. Thank you very much again to Sid for joining us this week on the show.
Yeah, it's been great having you on.
It's been wonderful.
And thanks for waking up so early as well.
Yeah, jeez. Oh my god.
Yeah, you guys owe me. Damn.
Maybe I'll look in my humble library and see what I can send you.
I don't think there's anything in your library that I don't already own.
All right, that's us for this week. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week.